Good morning and welcome to Citizen Era, the platform where we speak truth to power. This morning, we're going to look at this video by Ata Aidoo. And she makes some very, very profound statements here. In a large part, she has nailed everything that needs to be nailed in many areas. She also questions us as Africans. It's time for us to really take action for ourselves. In the end, those who've done what they've done it. And we need to we're now aware, we know better. We're in this age of enlightenment. As Africans, we need to take those steps to address those things. And when we take those steps, we can then hold those that did what they did, no matter how long ago, hold them to account. It is as simple as that. And there are various means to do that. It's not necessarily, there are various ways. But let's just look at and listen to what she's saying. Ata Aidoo, a great woman, a Ghanaian woman, a great African queen, in my opinion. Let's listen. Here goes.
As far as I'm concerned, since we met you people 500 years ago, look at us. We've given everything. You are still taking. It's true. I mean, where would the whole Western world be without Africa? Our cocoa, our timber, our gold, our diamonds, our platinum, our whatever. Everything you are is us. I am not saying it, it's a fact. And in return for all of this, what have we got? Nothing. Anti-personnel indoctrination
Against ourselves.
If you go and cook your horrible diseases like AIDS, you say it is us. You brought us tuberculosis. We didn't have this big cough until white people came here. In exchange for Africa giving Europe 500 solid years of our people.
500 solid years of our people, like she's saying. Let me just play that back again. Very important point to make there. Listen.
Years of our people.
Sorry. Here we go.
500 solid years of our people, I mean not Europe, the Western world, of our human beings to work your canes, to dig your gold, to take in gold itself. Diamond, I mean, fish, peanuts, palm oil, everything. In exchange for that, we have got nothing. Nothing. And you know it. Nothing. And you look upon, so white folks look upon us like monkeys. It is true. It's in your literature. Hey, some of your best thinkers have said this about us. Have you heard of all these Germans? Have you heard?
Okay.
Yes. They said, Lord Burton, people like that, they said, we don't even have the brain of animals. That's what we've got from you people.
But don't you think that this is over now?
Over where?
It isn't.
Over. Who said that AIDS came from the green monkey? Is it over? Is it over?
Very good question.
Well, if this is your impression, do you think that you can ever forgive us?
It's not a question of forgiveness. I have nothing against you. My point is that you did and you are doing for your survival what is necessary. We can't blame you for that. The fact that we didn't do enough for our own survival and we are still not doing enough for our survival, that is not your problem.
So, that right there is something I want us to, let me play that bit again. I want you to listen to this bit. Listen, I want you to, this is the bit that I want us to look at as Africans. That's the bit I want us to look at. Listen. We are not doing enough for our own survival. Listen to the words. Listen.
We didn't do enough for our own survival and we are still not doing enough for our survival. That is not your problem.
There you go. That is the point that I want to look at. Ata Aidoo, a great woman. We're not doing enough as Africans. That's my focus. That's what I want us to take from today's video. And I'm gonna ask the question: are we doing enough for our own survival as Africans? As Africans, are we doing enough? You know, are we doing enough? Are we doing enough? This is something that you will see. I'm going to post this as a question. I don't want to write too much. I want you to watch this video. And I want this video, the idea behind this video that I'm doing right now is I want us to think. I want us to really think. What is the plan? What are we trying to achieve? 500 years been enslaved in our own land by those who are looking out for their own interests. Are we looking out for our own interests? Are we looking out for the coming generation? Are we thinking about, is that not something that we should have as a priority? Why is it that we are allowing others to sway us with falsehoods, with illusion called money, when they really are after our resources and preventing us from developing those resources so we become competitive in Africa against the rest of the world? These are questions we should be asking ourselves as Africans. And I know it's difficult to hear these questions, to hear this kind of commentary, and you think, oh my goodness, no. But we do have to really ask ourselves those questions. The brains, many of the things you see in the world today, the beginning of civilization is from Africa. It is indisputable. Whoever is writing what, they can say they want to say they see us as monkey or whatever, but they come from us. Because what they're doing, if they're telling us that we are monkeys, white people came from us. We are the dominant people. Africans were the first people on planet Earth. That's it. It's indisputable. There's evidence all over the place. The oldest bones to be found in Africa. Dinkesh, 2.5 million years. Ethiopia, for example, 13,000 years ago. That's a minimum. In Yoruba land, they found a 13,000-year-old skull that was 30-year-old when it died. And there's more and more finds. The concept of writing comes from Africa. Pyramids come from Africa, built by Africans. We need to ask ourselves profound questions as Africans. What is it? What is the plan? How are we going to address the problems that we face? And it's not difficult. The best brains in the world, a doctor that can go in, find that a child has some sort of a disease or something in it, whilst pregnant, whilst still in the womb, goes in, cures that, and they successfully give birth to that child. That's who we are. That's who we are. So when she's asking a question, are we doing enough to cater for the coming generation as Africans? That's the question we should ask ourselves. Are we doing enough? So she's right to ask that question. We know what they've done, and those who did that, the accountability will come in place. Once we sort out what we are and all that, then we can take care of all of that. Right now, we have to sort out what is the plan. As Africans collectively, what is the plan? We've been 500 years enslaved in our own land. Still are. The borders that were put in place over 125 years ago are still intact in Africa. That's what she's talking about. And our people have been taken all over the world for 500 years. So what's the plan? I'm asking you as an African, what's the plan? If we don't have a plan, shouldn't we begin to have a plan, to plan for the coming generation of Africans collectively? You see, this goes beyond seeing ourselves as African, as Nigerians, Cameroonians, Indians, Nigerians, Cameroonians, Ethiopians. This goes beyond that. It goes beyond that. Remember, those those nations created were created in Berlin. Our ancestors had nothing to do with that. It's time we know better. The 1892, whatever, 1884, sorry, 84, 85 Berlin Conference has got impact on us till date. So what are we going to do as Africans to address that? The wars going on in Africa, it's all engineered, because whilst we are busy fighting ourselves in the name of some religion or some belief or some whatever that has been, again, largely imported, those who want those resources for their own benefits, they take it. We need to do a fundamental rethink of where we're going as Africans. My generation, we're the generation where we are asking searching questions, perhaps more than any other generation before. And I don't say that as a way to, oh, look, we've arrived. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm Ata Aidoo. I'm a great mom here. She's asking a really searching question of us. Not only of us, but of those who took from us. But more importantly, we need to. Are we telling our stories? Do we tell our stories? When somebody is busy reading the Quran and reading the Bible, written by others from their own point of view, do you think we will have time to understand our history and how to correct the wrongs? Do you think so? Do you think so? I'm just asking. I'm not making a judgment. I'm just asking us as Africans searching questions. It's not about feeling sorry. No. It's about addressing and knowing that, recognizing, even as we speak right now, the greatness we possess, if harnessed, will be unmatched by anywhere else in the world. And I leave nowhere out. The greatness we possess even now, in terms of resources and human abilities, will be unmatched if properly harnessed. So we need to sit up and have a think. Where are we going? Are we doing enough? As Africans, are we doing enough? It's fine, we can complain that we've been enslaved for 500 years and we still are. But at some point, we have to make a decision. Where are we going? Are we doing enough? What steps do we take to address this? We need to address the fact that we are seen as the only resource nation from which resources can be tapped by any so-called colonial powers around the world at dead cheap prices. In the end, we have to take on that responsibility and decide how to address it collectively as Africans. Many countries believe that you don't speak the same language, but I'm hearing that in Gambia they speak Yoruba. In many places they speak other. In Africa, in Brazil they speak Yoruba. Of course, in my part of the world, in Yoruba, in so-called Nigeria, where we're going for Yoruba Nation, and we're going, they speak Yoruba there. In Benin, close by, there's 2 million plus speaking Yoruba. In the other country, gosh, I've forgotten that country now. It'll come up. There are other countries next to us there that they speak Yoruba as well. It will come to me. I'm just going to bring it up. 1 second. Oh, I've just got a brain freeze right now. Benin, Nigeria, Togo. In Togo, they speak Yoruba. But people will say Togo. You see, when you've been given if you don't tell your story, we're not telling our story. So by us remembering, if you look, the commonality of all of these countries that you see around the world, the commonality, not around the world, in Africa, is that you're either speaking English, French, or Spanish. And all of those things, they believe in the religion of Christianity. So they teach that. So those people now, the history of Africans before this colonization is almost unknown by many Africans. And so we're now taking on, oh, we've always been Togoans, we've always been Nigerians, we've always been Cameroonians. No, you haven't. I am a Yoruba man from Oyo Empire. That's who I am. And that's been there thousands of years before any idea of even what called Nigeria, whereby they destroyed kingdoms. They created Northern Protectorate, Southern Protectorate, merge it together, and then call it Nigeria, Niger area, or whatever they want to call it. We have to understand our history. They tell us we are 2,000 years old in the world. 2021, right? The bones that you see, the ones that they found in Ihoeleru, the caves of ashes in Ondo State. It says that young man, that the 30-year-old they found, the bones was 13,000 years old. Just that alone, it actually throws into disarray this idea that we are living in 2021. It's a nonsense, but hey, that's another story. And what's worse, the scientists, the so-called quote-unquote scientists, are now trying to say that the body that they found, that a different set of people are now living there. That the people the boy that died 13,000 years ago is not from the Yoruba people. Some of them are trying to make that subtle. Oh no. They're making agree. These are all trying to get into. They cannot. The people making this research, there is nowhere where their bones are that old. There isn't. They can go to 4,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 BC. We're talking 13,000, 16,000, maybe even more. So they have to get in there to try and change the narrative. Oh no, the people that came there, they're not the same. They. Let me see if I can show you something. Because what she's saying, and I'm going to play it again. It's important to understand. Let me show you what I mean. I don't want you to just, let me bring this back up. I'm going to bring this up. Because I saw something on BBC the other day, and I didn't catch on it. But I've listened back, and I've been playing back in my brain, and I've watched the video again of what they said. And suddenly, there it is right there. It is important for those who are writing that narrative, who are creating this false narrative of 2021 and all of that stuff, to make sure that we do not remember who we are. They separate us from our own history, to tell us, oh no, the people that are living there, oh, the people that you just came, that you're a new breed. They should not the same people at all. Of course, we all know we've been there for longer, and we've existed. They can want to call us whatever name they want to call us, but they come from us. We're the ones who migrated across the coast of Africa, connected across to the point where Africa and Asia meet. And that's how the world is populated by people today. Whether they like it or not, that is a fact that they cannot dispute. It is a fact that they cannot dispute. So, let's just, but I'm just putting it there. Let me see if I can find this thing for you. 1 second. I hope I can find it. I thought I had it here. Let me just see sticky. Because you need to understand what is being done here. And we have to be, you see, if we're not taking control of the narrative, that's what I talk about now. The media is the most powerful tool of the enemy. Once you begin to understand that, it's not the weapons, yes, we know they're powerful, but the media and the use of the media is the most powerful tool of the colonials. Because the narrative that they're telling you, when you repeat a lie over and over and over and over every time, now it begins to sound like the truth because you've told it so many times. It's like you're brainwashing. It's like you see what they're doing with that. It's like you have a computer. When it has a normal information and the old information on it. Now, when you reformat it, you put new information. That's what's happening to us as Africans. When you reformat that brain, when a computer has been there with all of this information, suddenly something happens and it stops. Now you can either, you might have saved that information somewhere. So when you now go and restart the computer, on a memory card, you put it back in, the hard drive, put it back in, so it will have that stored information. What we're having in Africa is that information, they've actually stopped us. How we passed that information was telling the story and a lot of writings and things, but they interrupted all of that process that we had. And what they've done now is it's reformatted it with information, with key information that we need to carry on things missing. There are still some places, and we're finding them out. But I'm just making sure we understand what is being done here. As Africans, this is our own story. They can listen if they want, but I'm talking to every African on this planet. We need to understand, are we doing enough? Are we doing enough to address this ourselves? Are we doing it? And what steps must we take? We need to ask ourselves those questions. What steps must we take? It's not good enough to just say, we're just going to just get up and just say, no, enough. But we need to build this. The coming generation, how are we preparing them to make sure that they know who they are? What steps? Our history as Africans has been distorted. Our history. They've given a perception that we are monkeys hanging from trees. But they forget that if they're calling us monkeys, like I keep telling you, if they're telling us that we're monkeys, they are also monkeys because they come from us. The facts are there, but we are not. We evolved and we built civilizations. Columbus did not discover Europe. No, Africans did. Columbus did not discover America. Africa did. Columbus did not discover Asia. Where he went, they said he discovered. And then where's the book? I have a book somewhere. Oh, it's not here. I've taken it in. There are so many. The pyramids again. They keep trying to tell some. There is indisputable fact that is built by Africans. The base of the Islamic churches is the pyramid, and the people that were there at the time are Africans. That's indisputable. So look, let's not. I'm just trying to bring this to your attention. Now, one thing I want to do, I was going to bring that information. Where is it? Let me see if I can find this for you. Okay, 1 second. How do I do this? I want to find you something here. Oh, it is proving to be difficult for some reason to get this information now. Okay, here we are. So let me just type in something here. I think I had something here. Okay, now. Good. I think I've got it. When I saw that, I was like, whoa. What are you telling me? I was stunned. So I'm going to try and do this. Copy. So I wanted to understand. We need to understand what, the press is the most powerful piece, tool they have. It's the powerful tool. And once they take that over, so they keep telling us now. You see now, the scientist comes and tells us. So here, they're talking about interbred. They're talking about, so see, they're trying to separate. Look at this, for example. They talk about here. Let me just highlight this. You see, this is the bone. This here is the 13,000-year-old skull they found. Yeah? And I want you to, and then they compare it to the others. Now, they said it's longer, it's all of that stuff. It's, the fact is we evolve. The fact is as people we've evolved. But to try and separate it. So it says, reanalysis of the 13,000-year-old skull from a cave in West Africa reveals a skull more primitive looking than its age suggests. And it was a 30-year-old skull. So the results suggest that the ancestors of animals did not die quickly in Africa, but instead lived alongside descendants and bred with them until comparatively recently. The skull found in Iwo in Nigeria in 1965. It wasn't found in 1965. That's another story. It was in 1922. A man called, you see, these are the stories that we need to tell. We need to challenge things like this. This is, it is important that we tell these stories, So it wasn't found in 1965. Now, I wouldn't be able to give this information if I hadn't done a bit of research. The skull was found by Chief Obeli in 1922. But you see, those who are writing, because that story, it would not sound good if it was said that a black man found a skull when he went hunting in 1922. It wouldn't sound interesting. Now, when you say a white man found it in the cave in 1965, oh, the white man came. Can you see how they are rewriting the history? Can you see how they are writing the history? That's why I'm telling you that information, having control of the media is the most powerful tool of the colonials. And we need to recognize that as Africans and address that, because we need to take control of our own narrative. I'm just showing you. You're looking at this now. Let me just see if I can. I'll show you what I mean here again. So look at that. Again, it says the skull found in Iwo, cave in Nigeria in 1965. It wasn't found in 1965. It was found in 1922. Let me bring you the story, and we need to recognize ourselves for that as Africans. We have to. We need to. We've been told stories, the Bible, and it's all tools of control and trying to change and our perception of who we are. They tell you long enough you're a monkey, you will believe it. But we're not monkeys. We're the beginning of civilization. We civilized the world, literally. Now let's go ahead. Okay, let me just. I don't want to bring that one on. I want to show you something more. I'm just trying to find this. Okay, sorry. I think I've got something I'm going to do now. I will give you, sorry. Oh, sugar. Let me go back. I've just lost that now. I wasn't trying to delete it, but I'll bring it back. So I'll bring that back again. 1 second. So do this for me quickly. Paste, put it there. And then we go back to the point where we were there. Now, I want to do one more thing. I want to do something. Just type in Ihueleru, and I will show you where that story of the man came from. So now, here we go. So I want you to read. To contrast, this is written by a Yoruba man. The story is, and we need to believe in ourselves. We are more likely to believe a story told by colonials than believing our own stories. That's how powerful the media that the colonials have created, that's how powerful they become. We will not believe, and we've been longer, considering the fact that we are the oldest people on planet Earth. We are not willing to accept our own history. We are willing to accept those who will come and interpret and tell us to suit them. It's time we woke up. Now, let me show you this thing. I want to just show you where they said. This is where they said. So you understand. The Ishano cave was discovered by a native. Yeah. Is identified as Obele in 1932. He rushed back to his whole community to inform the leaders of his discovery. Now, compare that to what they said here. Compare the skull found in 1965. Can you see that they completely scrubbed out? As completely scrubbing out our own narrative. It's important we take control of narrative, particularly when it comes to Africa. Nobody will tell Europeans about their own narrative. They take control of it. It's important if we're going to make changes, that Africans take control of our narrative. We must. So this story here, they're trying to tell us, look at that. They're saying it's primitive, it's everything else. They're trying to bring different things. Look at, you see all of these things they're doing. It's all subtle. It's all subtle. A skull is a skull. 13,000 years old, 30 years old. And that's all this and the people there then and now spoke Yoruba. That's what it said here. I'm more inclined to believe about my story of my own ancestry from people looking like me than somebody who is not looking like me. That's the point we're making here. Listen to what they said here again. So they said that here, and look at what the story said here. The Oba, and I'm more likely inclined to believe that the Oba said, listen to the bit I want you to listen to. Listen to here. It says here, according to Oba Awoleyin, that's a king in the area, Shaw and his team conducted an intensive and extensive research and exploration on the place where they evacuated the bones of Stone Age men in the cave. The findings of these men indicated that the person evacuated some 11,200 years ago, who was alive, spoke Yoruba language. He spoke Yoruba language. But when you look at what they're writing in BBC, it doesn't mention that. It doesn't mention that. Can you see that we need to take control of our own narrative? As Africans, we must. So I'm doing this. I'll probably come back and do a live broadcast about this, but I want to do this for us to have a fundamental rethink. The media is the most powerful tool that the colonials use to control Africans within Africa. The guns just back it up because they put the guns in the hands of those who they want to do the killings, i.e. Fulanis and all of that stuff, and they do the killing whilst they continue taking the resources. But it's up to us to address these changes, to make these changes. It's up to us. It is really up to us. So you can see, when they talk to you, when you're seeing the story and they say the skull was found in Iwolere in 1965, it wasn't. It was found in 1922. We must take control of that narrative. It's in ours. It is like it's like a Yoruba man going to Europe and telling Europe, okay, this is your story. You have to believe that story. That's what they're doing. We need to believe our own story. An European is more inclined to believe the story from another European because they say they know their story. You cannot know their story more than they know theirs. So why should that be different with us? Why? We must take control of the narrative. When we do, the world in Africa will be in the image of Africa. The view Africa, how Africa is seen around the world, has to be from the view of Africans. That's very important. So I just wanted to just bring this to your attention. Before I go, I want you to bring, when you listen, watch this, and I'm going to play Nana Ata Aidoo. I think Nana Ata Aidoo. I think it is. Let me just put. If I don't write it down, let me write that down. I'm going to play that video again, and I want you to just. That's her name there. See. So let me just play it here.
As far as I'm concerned, since we met you people 500 years ago, look at us. We've given everything. You are still taking.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, where will the whole Western world
Ata Aidoo
be without Africa? Our cocoa, our timber, our gold, our diamonds, our platinum, our whatever.
Yeah.
Everything you are is us.
Mm-hmm.
I am not saying it, it's a fact.
It is a fact.
And in return for all of this, what have we got? Nothing. Anti-personnel indoctrination against ourselves. If you go and cook your horrible diseases like AIDS, you say it is us. You brought us tuberculosis. We didn't have this big cough until white people came here. In exchange for Africa giving Europe 500 solid years of our people, I mean not Europe, the Western world, of our human beings to work your canes, to dig your gold, to take in gold itself, diamond, I mean fish, peanuts, palm oil, everything. In exchange for that, we have got nothing. Nothing. And you know it. Nothing. and you look upon, so white folks look upon us like monkeys. It is true. It's in your literature.
Exactly.
Some of your best thinkers have said this about us.
Now,
Have
you know what? I'm actually going to do something to you now. I'm going to do something now. Evolution, Theory of Evolution by whatever his name. Let's just have a look. This is the fourth Theory of Evolution by, let me just get it up. Let me just see. I'm trying to get the name of this guy out. Hopefully it'll come up. Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin. Yeah. Let me just see. I'm just trying to tell what I'm trying to make you understand what she's talking about. She's right. Right. Let me just put it on black people. Yeah. Let me just. I want you to really connect this. And I'm gonna probably grow this life again. Let's have a look. Yeah. Now, let me just see. So, I want to give you an idea of what he means. I'm trying to find you something that it says here. I wanted to. I don't want to talk about somebody else writing. I want to, let me see. Let's have a look here. I'm going to find this for you. So it says here. Listen to these words. And I'm going to show you now. You see? Darwin, for example, when she talks about that, Darwin says, and I'm going to bring it so you will read it. Darwin says, the idea that white people are more intelligent and moral persists throughout. At one point, Darwin says that savages have low morality, insufficient powers of reasoning, and weak power of self-command. Darwin's specific consideration of intellectual capacities is especially alarming. He begins with animals. No one supposes that the lower animals reflects whence he comes from, or whither he goes, what is death, what is life, and so forth. He remarks soon expands to humans. How little can hard-working wife of a degraded Australian savage who uses hardly any abstract words and cannot count or above for exert her consciousness or reflect the nature of her own existence. Darwin writes that Australians are incapable of complex thoughts and insinuates that they are akin to lower animals. That is what she's referring to. I want you to look at that point. That is what she's referring to. We need to understand. You see, when you now read this in schools as a child, and they write stories around this, look, I kid you not, what they are doing is akin to, in many respects, when they're doing all of this stuff, is to killing the African within the African. Forget your history, forget your culture, forget all of that, but be left with a canvas whereby you only know what you're taught. English and the history, the tea in England, the Queen of England, all of that stuff. And this is the basis of all of that. This is the basis of all of that. So you see why it's important for us to take control of our own narrative as Africans? We must. For the coming generation, we have to. We have to. So I just wanted to bring that there. Now let's pull that back. Let's go back to what she's saying again now, and we'll wrap it up.
Heard of all these Germans? Have you heard?
Okay.
Yes, they said Lord Burton, people like that. They said we don't even have the brain of animals.
It's not even Lord Burton. I've just told you Darwin says, it says here, the idea of the white people are more intelligent and moral persists throughout. At one point, that says that Darwin says that savages have low morality, insufficient powers of reasoning, and weak power of self-command. Darwin's specific consideration of intellectual capacities is especially alarming. He begins with animals. No one supposes that one of the lower animals reflects whence he comes from or whither he goes, what is death or what is life, and so forth. His remarks soon expands to humans. How little can the hard worked wife of a degraded Australian savage who uses hardly any abstract words and cannot count above 4 exert her self-consciousness or reflect her own existence. Darwin writes that Australians are more complex, complex thought, and insinuates that they are akin to lower animals. That's what she's referring to there. So let me just do this 1 second. Okay. So yeah. So it's very important, So his perspective on non-European analysis are incredibly prejudiced. You see, let me go even read further. And absurd modern evolutionist teachers tend to ignore or omit that component of life's theory, but it hasn't gone completely unnoticed. For example, Rotley Dennis examines role in scientific racism. The Journal of Negro Educated, who found in Darwin's words talent and virtue were features to be identified solely with Europeans. White supremacy is clearly embedded in the descent of man, regardless of Darwin's brilliance or the accuracy of the rest of his theory. So I'm giving you real figures here, real things to look at here. I can give you that thing for you to look at as well. I will copy it and maybe I might even put it as a link so you can go and research it yourself. Because these are things that I like to look at and really explore. I'm not an Englishman. I'm a Yoruba man. I'm a proud Yoruba man, and I want to state that. But what I'm saying is that we're exposing all of these lies. So reference points are very important. Now look at this now. So let's listen to what she's saying.
That's what we've got from you people.
But don't you think that this is over now?
You see, that's the thing. It's not over. It can't until Africans name their own kingdoms. We don't have nations. We grew up, our ancestors built kingdoms. We need to now find a way to connect back to those kingdoms and bring them to life in our current reality. That's the path that we need to go. So this woman here, the European woman asking the question, forgive and all of that. It's not about forgiving. It's not. That's the wrong question to ask. That's the wrong question. Forgiving is just, again, trying to fit into the narrative of Jesus Christ. If slap you on one face, take the turn the other cheek. It's beyond that. It's beyond that. So let's go on.
Where? Is it over?
It's not
Who
exactly.
said that 8 came from the green monkey?
Very good. All of these diseases are, and so-called vaccines that we are hearing about and all of that stuff. I don't know. All of that. And what is going on? You know, she's right. She's asking the right questions. She's saying, who says it's over? And it isn't. And it won't be over until we take control of the narrative ourselves of Africans. Not of Europeans, not of Asians. Africans must take control of the narratives of Africans, particularly how we are reflected to each other. Many people will not know that Togo people speak Yoruba and Benin speak Yoruba, and Yoruba people in so-called Nigeria speak Yoruba. That is one connected history that many will go to their graves not knowing. That's the point. Because if we all knew that, then the walls that have been created in our mind, you see the borders created in our mind, Togo, Nigeria, Benin, among Yoruba people, when you know this history, the walls disappear, and then you reflect the history in the creation around you. Anyway, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you find this interesting. Let's just watch it to the end. Please leave comments.
Is it over?
Well, if this is your impression, do you think that you can ever forgive us?
It's not a question of forgiveness. I have nothing against you. My point is that you did and you are doing for your survival what is necessary. We can't blame you for that. The fact that we are not
doing enough for our own survival.
And we are still not doing enough for your
survival.
That is not your problem.
Yeah. Thank you. So I'm going to close it out there. I am going to close it out, and that is Ama. Let me just make sure I get it right. Ama Ata Aidoo. Let me just make that. I'll make a comment. So I want you to. She's a great woman. She asked a really fundamental question of us Africans. There are questions to be asked of everybody, but most particularly we ourselves, I want to put that there because it's a very important fundamental question, and it's something I want us all to think about as Africans. More important than going any church or any mosque you care to mention. Are we doing enough for our own survival? So let me just see. Yeah. So she's she's of advanced years now. She said that when she's young, and she's still alive today, from what I can gather. Let me see if I can even, I'm going to get a picture of her out so you can see that what I'm saying. Unless so she's actually. If anybody knows how to get in touch with her, I'd like to. I want to, it'd be good. So let's. Let me just make sure I get it right. Sorry. So, okay. So now I'm going to just do something. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to put that there. The reason I'm doing, sorry about that. The reason I'm doing this, I want you to know that's who she is. So I want to put that there. So we put it here. It might be a bit busy. So her name is Ata Aidoo. And I'm going to get you a current picture of her because I went to do a little bit of research because I like to do these things. It's important. We should start exploring ourselves. The same interest we take in reading and exploring all things about the Bible and the Quran. Let's start on exploring who we are as Africans, because we get the real story of who we are. When we're researching all those things, it's taking us away from knowing who we are. We need to know who we are. Now, let's type her name in, and you just see what happens. Ama Ata Aidoo, very important figure. We must celebrate. She asked a question, Let me just tap it. Sorry. These are things that we should be asking, fundamental questions. Yeah. 1942, she is born. Ama Ata Aidoo. A great woman. I'm really, really in awe of her, actually, because she stated a lot of things that are things that people don't want to know or to be told of. We're busy learning other people's story, and that is informing our. Look, when we learn other people's story, we will try to think in that manner. We need to know our story inside out. Inside out. Now, let me just get a picture of her. So let me just see. Sorry. Let me just type this 1 second, please. I'll show you. Oh, I've not shown you. I will do. Okay. Okay. So she's a mama. Mama Ama Ata Aidoo. So she's a great woman. I'm going to probably do a lot more work about her. I need to really, I need to do that. This is something that's of interest, a great interest to me. I find this kind of things interesting to look at and understand, because it's, our women, our African women are the mothers to the entire world. I kid you not. And they don't want to hear it, but that's the truth. Okay, hammer. Oh, okay. I want to give you a current picture of her. A picture of her. Let's have a look. Oh, okay. I'm gonna get that done. She's actually. Let me go to here. Here is Mama Ama Ata Aidoo. Oh, I love this woman. I love this woman. I love this woman. I love her. She's just, my eyes light up. Look, there's that's her currently. She's a girl a Facebook page, and I'm gonna go and like that page right now. I suggest you as an African go and do the same. Very important. Wow. I'm just blown away. There's things when you go looking, you can find out information. Look, it's yeah, enough said. I'm really happy. I am. Now, okay, so I'm gonna do something more. I want you to watch this video. I'm gonna do a live broadcast about this, but watch it anyway and listen to the things I said in between. In the meantime, thank you for watching. You're watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Listen to the words and what I'm saying. You know, are we doing enough for our survival? It's going to be the title of this broadcast. Are we doing enough for our survival as Africans? Are we collectively doing enough for our survival as Africans? So, very important question. Thanks for watching. Please, when you get the broadcast, please do share, and share. You're watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Thank you and goodbye.